This video is about this anonymous later 19th century, one presumes, English-made flute. It's got no stamps on the body whatever, but it does have AL stamps on several of the keys, clear on one, less clear on some others, but also one IN stamp on the long C key. So, who made it? One might think from typical features like the asymmetrical E-flat touch that is, well, I mean, that's the AL stamp key, that's an AL feature, Alexander Liddle. One might presume that it was made in the Liddle factory, but we can't be sure, especially with the odd stamped key, although that stamp isn't stunningly clear, but it does look like IN to me, which is a known stamp. That said, the keys are all in a matching style in terms of the way the key arm attaches to the key cup with this stub style connection, which is present on all of the keys with the exception of the B flat, which is a more normal Liddle style key with a pointed arm to just past the centre of the cup. So that key is an odd one out, may or may not be original to the flute. It's a good fit if it's been a later replacement, or maybe they just had boxes of keys in the Liddle factory and got them stars mixed up sometimes, who knows. I've done what I can with the restoration of this flute. It is missing the crown, but although the stopper core and cork are present, and it has corked tenons done by somebody else, which has been well done, but the beds on the tenons are a bit short and it's a little bit prone to working apart. Could do with having the beds for the cork lapping extended a bit, because the tenons are quite wide shouldered. That maybe wasn't the most obvious one. There we are, you see that could easily be taken another millimetre or so in each direction and make for a more stable joint, and the same here. It was always a cheaper flute in that there's a big sapwood intrusion in the cocos wood here and a little bit on the barrel, on the short F block as well, maybe a hint of it there. It's a bit odd in that if you're going to have the short F touch where it can be reached, the long F touch where it can be reached by the left little finger, you have to rotate the right hand holes back from the line of the left hand holes, which is the opposite to what we're familiar with. You can see the offset alignment there, the light's not helping, but yes, you can see the offset alignment there. The typical Nicholson alignment would be to roll the right hand forward so that the holes are pointing more out towards the audience, and then you have an upturned long F touch. The touch is reversed to bring it in reach for the little finger. This one goes the other way, although the way it works, I think you're meant to set it up with the right hand holes pointing more or less straight up and the left hand holes slightly rolled out, because that actually then brings the B flat touch and the G sharp touch into quite comfortable placement. Obviously you could rotate the foot to suit and rotate the embouchure hole in the head joint to suit. This is a flute, clearly a flute from the late 19th or early 20th century, in that it was made to be able to play at quite high pitch. To play at A440 you need the tuning slide out this far, which is a couple of millimetres past the end of the barrel slide. That said, its intonation is pretty good here. If you play with it pushed in to tune up to A452 or higher, the scale becomes stretched and the intonation is less good. That is fairly typical of these later 19th century simple system flutes. They made them able to be made shorter, but they didn't actually change the scaling very much from the earlier 19th century flutes. So this is also quite a large holed flute. as you can see. It's a little unusual in that it has key cups for the low C sharp and C, whereas it's far more common on this kind of flute for those two to be pewter plugs. But apart from that, it's done. I have repaired cracks in the head through the embouchure and one in the barrel, and I've put some little electrical tape tags on the back of it to show to a future owner my suggested alignments for the sections of the flute, though obviously those can be taken off and disposed of by anybody who disagrees with what I'm suggesting. So, here we have it. Now to give it a little demo. All the way up to high C, quite nicely and easily, with a bit of exploration of some of the alternative fingerings for the notes that most commonly need them. Okay. See, the intonation at this setting is pretty good. No flat foot to speak of, anyway. Really quite easy up the top there. So that's its scale and intonation set for 440.